Since I started getting into really serious collecting, one thing that has remained true has remained steadfast, one fact. And that fact is that budget knives are improving at a much faster rate than the rest of the knife world. They're improving faster than high-end knives ever have. And this, the Kubey KU322, is all the proof I need. Kubey is one of those brands that has kind of lived in the dark corners of the knife world for a few years before hitting puberty and transforming into what it is today. And what it is today is one of the most impressive producers of low-price, high-value knives, period. I've handled a few Kubeys in my time here in the knife world on Knife YouTube. The Anteater was my first, followed by the Vagrant, but those feel like they honestly came from a completely different company than this. Looks-wise, the KU322 here has been called by many the Budget Arius, and in case you didn't know, that refers to the Koenig Knives Arius, which is an American-made masterpiece that costs a whole fartload of cash money. The KU322 here is, with its G10 scales over exposed stainless steel liners and its D2 blade steel, does not cost a fartload of money. In fact, in comparison to the Arius, it costs a meager pittance, a few shekels if you will. But that doesn't at all take away from the impressive nature of this full-size liner lock. This variant is the blacked out, murdered out version. The black G10 scales are nicely textured and finished really well. The exposed liners are stainless steel and also coated black to matchy-matchy. The hardware is all T8, which is really nice at this price point. And the deep carry pocket clip, yep, you guessed it, blacked out. And it carries nice and secure, good and deep, easy in and out of the pocket. It's a really great clip, honestly. Closed up, it's a nice looking piece, although slightly kind of tactical looking overall. Really tall spine to spine while closed, and honestly pretty sterile thanks to the blacked out colorway here. Just the flipper and that angular deployment slot on the blade peeking out. Opened up, we are met with this big old D2 slicer, and it's a really nice looking blade. Those aggressive deployment slots and that fuller that runs the length of the blade, some gently sculpted yet effective ergonomic lines, it's all good stuff. The profile of this thing opened up is as classy as it is tactical, and I really dig it. All in all, it's not a game changer, but it's a nice looking full-size folder, opened or closed, and one that isn't going to raise many eyebrows. At least not judgmental ones. Sensual eyebrows, maybe, I don't know. Moving on to the ergos, I have to tell you, I have absolutely loved using this thing. It is a dream in the hand. Choke back, feels great, good texture from the G10 scales for extra grippiness, and you can really lock in against that flipper tap. And thanks to the nice sized finger choil, we can choke up for all the control in the world. And it's a nice and comfy control. Reverse grip, hammer grip, you name it. It's all as good as gold in my book. The pocket clip sits nice and low and doesn't cause any discomfort in the hand. It just kind of nestles nicely into the palm. Also, thanks to the fact that it is a full-size knife, no questions asked, any size pair of hands will feel right at home here. And I really just don't have anything bad to say about the way this thing feels in the hand. It's an excellent piece to carry and to use. And speaking of great to use, let's talk about that blade. That big D2 drop point is a slicing machine. We have this insanely tall flat grind, a good stabby tip for piercing, and a really subtle belly. And it all adds up to a cardboard destroyer. Not to mention, the D2 has held up insanely well over the past few months, and the coating has held up right along with the edge. It's a real cutting man's blade, choil to tip. I haven't even needed to sharpen this thing in 3 or so months. I might have touched it up on the strop like once, but it's holding up like a champ, and I have not babied it. Overall, I have just adored using and carrying and borderline abusing this piece of tool steel, and I plan on doing so for as long as it'll hold up. And finally, the action. Kubey has always been good with dialing in the action on their knives, but the KU322 here is on another level. The flipping action is nice and snappy. D10 is a little bit soft and or mushy, but it still manages to get that big D2 slicer out of the handles almost every single time. I can fail it pretty easily, but when I give it the gas, it's coming out with some aggression. The deployment slots here offer the most satisfying modes of actuation, however. Thumb flicks are a breeze, easy to pull off with the fattier thumb, and it feels much better tuned for thumb flicks and reverse flicks. The Spidey flicks are the moneymaker, though overall insanely snappy. The liner lock is really easy to get a hold of and push aside, and on the close, those cage bearings that the blade is running on brings that big slab of D2 slamming shut with a vengeance. Excellent action, start to finish, no blade play, no lock rock, opening and closing, it's all grade A stuff in my book. So where does all of this leave me with the Kubey Knives KU322? Well, I have to be honest, I didn't really know what to expect. I just knew that I liked the way it looked, and that's why I bought it. But good God, this is not what I expected. I purchased this piece for 50 bucks on Amazon like 3 or 4 months ago, and it has held up better than some $200 and $300 knives I've picked up since then. The action is smooth as silk, the build quality is top notch, cutting performance is grade A USDA certified. Kubey is on a roll. A lot of their more recent designs look as good as this one, and I can only assume perform as good as well. It's seriously mind-blowing what your $50 can get you these days, and I guess I'm just sorry I didn't pick one of these up sooner. I really cannot recommend this thing enough. This might be your best value money buy right now in Q1 of 2022. So until next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye now.